Jennifer Lopez has had one of the most dramatically up and down careers of any superstar. When she's successful, she's unstoppable, but when she flops hard. While she certainly has had down periods, the peaks of her career have provided us with films and music that are ingrained in pop culture. Take for instance her 2011 album, Love. This was one of the biggest albums of the 2010s, and its singles are still regularly played at nightclubs, parties, and on the radio. However, in 2010, it didn't seem like J-Lo could pull off an era like this. Her career was in a precarious position after a string of relatively underperforming singles. Her 2007 album, Brave, was her lowest charting and worst selling album at the time. This, in addition to the critical and commercial failure of the film Border Town, which she starred in, made J-Lo's career take a sharp downturn. She needed to come back in a big way, and to do that, she'd go back to her dance pop roots, while updating her sound to fit in with contemporary hits. She left her old label, Sony, in 2010 to switch to Def Jam, temporarily halting production on the new album before it resumed, now with producer Red One and label boss L.A. Reid serving as executive producers. The last official single she released at Sony, called Louboutins, was meant to be the album's lead single, though after the label move, this plan was scrapped, and the song doesn't appear on the final product. She also released a promotional single called Fresh Out the Oven in 2009, though she didn't feel like it fit in creatively with what she was making, so it was also left off. Justice for both of those songs though, especially Fresh Out the Oven, that is a banger right there. J-Lo recorded about 20 songs for this project, eventually whittling it down to 15 songs if we're including all the bonus tracks. Regarding the album's title, she said it was Love, because she finds the topic itself fascinating, and that she'd explore it more on this album than on her previous ones. Alright, Jenny, girl, I love you, but that's kind of a crock of shit. All of her albums are about love. Her Spanish album literally translates to How a Woman Loves. I don't think this album necessarily explores it any deeper than her other ones, but honestly, I think her statement was just flowery PR language anyways. Love, the album, is an electro dance pop record from start to finish. It was clearly inspired by the club music boom of the late 2000s and early 2010s that was spearheaded by acts like Lady Gaga and Kesha. Red One actually was the producer for much of Gaga's early discography, so this album sounding like the Fame Monster Jennifer's version makes total sense. The lead single, On the Floor, dropped in February 2011 and subsequently dominated that year, selling over 8 million copies worldwide. J-Lo really struck when the iron was hot when it came to jumping on the dance music craze. She literally began her career in dance music, where she got many of her biggest hits, so returning to that genre when it was at the height of its popularity was an almost guaranteed success. On the Floor is basically the 2011 version of Waiting for Tonight, and I think that's why it was such a huge success. J-Lo really shines in dance music, especially when she incorporates her Latin heritage into it, and that's what makes On the Floor the quintessential Jenny song. Despite that, I actually like the follow-up single, I'm Into You, even more. The song's an R&B dance pop banger with the catchiest hook on the whole album. I remember loving this song in middle school, the video too. I love the setting so much, it's just so pretty. The song underperformed when compared to On the Floor, peaking at number 41 in the US, though it was still a moderate hit, and did go number 1 on the Dance Club Songs chart. Same goes for the next single, Poppy, which similarly topped that chart, though it only peaked at number 96 on the Hot 100, which is really bizarre to me. I remember both of those songs being huge back then, so these chart positions seem fishy. Maybe Mariah was pulling some strings behind the scenes, who knows? Regardless of chart numbers, it was undeniable that J-Lo was back, with her highest charting album since 2005, 3 hit singles, and a hit movie called The Backup Plan. I told you, when J-Lo peaks, she peaks. Love, the album itself, just screams 2011. You have Lady Gaga-esque party bangers like Invading My Mind, Charge Me Up, and Hypnotico, Ryan Tedder-esque power ballads like Until It Beats No More and Starting Over, and electro R&B cuts like Run the World and Take Care that wouldn't sound out of place on Mariah Carey's work from the time. And I promise I'm not trying to be shady by saying that. I actually think Mariah would sound great on both of those songs. I'd argue that Love is J-Lo's strongest and most consistently great album. I wouldn't call it a masterpiece, but I actually don't think there's any skips on it. It's one of those records where every song could have easily been a hit. Which, speaking of, the second track, Good Hit, was released as a promo single in January 2011, and even had a video made, which I didn't know about until the making of this video, and I was so happy to find this out, because Good Hit is far and away my favorite song on Love. And one of my favorite J-Lo songs, period. It's such a cunty banger, the perfect track to blare when you're getting ready to go out. I wonder if it would have been a big hit had it been a proper single, but as of now, I kind of like how it's this hidden gem that no one really remembers. All in all, Love represents the classic pop star comeback story. It may not have been as big a comeback as some of her peers, again I promise I'm not being shady, but it still did exactly what it needed to do, bring J-Lo back to the A-list. Since then, her career has seen similar peaks and valleys, and as of me recording this video, it's looking like she's in a deep, deep valley, but honestly, I have no doubt in my mind that she's gonna come back. It may be through a movie, a Broadway performance, a TV show, who knows, but you really can never count J-Lo out. If Love is anything to go by, she's more than capable of reclaiming her spot at the top.